Growing up in a mixed family can sometimes be confusing as a kid. When I was younger, I had many issues with my ethnicity. Not that I hated it, but rather didn't know if I was white or black. In elementary school, most of my friends were white, and I wondered to myself, why don't I have any black friends? One day during recess, I tried to play with two girls named Dorian and Victoria. They were on the slides, so I ran over to them and asked, "Do you guys want to play on the swings together?" They replied, "No, we're playing on the slides." I then asked, "Can I slide with you?" They replied, "No, we don't want to play with you." At that moment, I was crushed. I didn't understand. Why didn't they want to play with me? I thought to myself, I don't stink. I'm not ugly, am I? And I wasn't even mean when I asked. So why didn't they want to play? At this moment, I came to the conclusion that I didn't have any black friends because I was white. My skin is lighter than theirs, and that's why we weren't friends. At school, there wasn't much diversity. Mainly blacks hung out with blacks, and whites hung out with whites. I went home that day and told my parents my theory. The reason I have no black friends is because I'm white. They stared at me and then looked at each other. My mother then said,
"Rachel, you're not white, you're black."
I was confused and asked, if I'm not white, why are Dad and I lighter than you? She replied by saying,
You have your dad's color, but you're mixed between your dad and I.
I looked at her and said, no, that's not true, because look at my hand and yours. You're black, but I'm white.
You're black.
I'm white.
You're black.
I'm white.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. We argued back and forth that whole night until my mom eventually stopped replying. I continued to think like this until one day my family and I went to Regal Cinema to see The Incredibles. While waiting for the movie to start, there were numerous previews for upcoming movies, one of them including the movie Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. After seeing this action-packed preview of Denzel saving Dakota Fanning from a kidnapper and many bad guys, I sat up in the movie, looked at my mom, and loudly said, "Mom, I like black people now." She turned to me in shock, as I didn't realize the theater was completely silent. She told me to hush and sit down. After that moment, we looked around, and everyone was staring at us. Mainly my mom. She was so embarrassed. I looked at her and said, "But I do like black people." My mom looked at me and said,
Okay, good.
As I grew up and matured, I came to the realization that color does not matter. While I felt accepted by the white community and rejected by the black community, I realized that I was letting people define who I was. I got sick and tired of trying to please people, and I learned that my worth and true value is not defined by people. Trying to please people left me feeling unfulfilled. So one day, I just let go. I looked myself in the mirror and said, "You are beautiful." I learned to love myself and to appreciate the difference in ethnicities.